Getting older is automatic. Getting better is not. If you're going to get better, you have to become intentional. We literally go through life thinking that somehow the experiences of life itself will cause us to grow in our personal life. If you and I are going to get better, it's because we are intentional in our life. You see, intentional living, what it does is it takes good intentions and turns them into good actions. If you and I are going to grow, we have to grow on purpose.
We have to constantly ask ourselves the uncomfortable questions. I mean, is the world better for me having been in it? And if the last few years have taught me anything, is that rather than change the world to better suit our needs, how can we change ourselves to better suit the world that we all live in? Thoughtfully examine the roles we play and how to best be of use and to be of service.
Vision can become blurry, and so you have to watch what you think you saw. There are times things happen in your life when it feels like you failed. You didn't fail. You got a lesson. But the lesson won't be understood until later in life, and you look back and say, I needed that thing happen to me so that I could become who I am today. It may not feel like it, but you can't understand what isn't brought into focus because your imagination is limited to what's in front of you. You have to get a purview, something bigger than what's in front of you, and see life as segments, that the opening scene, the credits might be playing, but what's inside of me is a movie, a masterpiece, something that I must remember that I'm not a role player, but I am that star. And the more that I rise, the more I orbit and set an atmosphere around me of people with the same mindset. Stop believing just what you see and start writing the scenes yourself.
It don't happen overnight, and there's gonna be moments when it's really, really frustrating, and it's gonna be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs and too low off the lows, you know, you're gonna take yourself on a ride that's very, very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work and appreciating it, you know, when it's good, and not stressing too bad when it's bad, just appreciating the work and staying focused on showing up every day.
Let me ask you a question. If you're able to stand in someone else's shoes and look back at yourself, are you someone you would admire? If the answer is yes, then congratulations. But if the answer is no, why not? You already know what you admire in other people, so become someone you would admire. If you admire people who wake up early, wake up early. If you admire people who build businesses, build a business. If you admire people who don't drink, don't drink. You already know exactly what you need to do. You already know all the actions you would need to take today, this week, and this month if you wanted to improve your life. Because they're the actions you admire when you see other people doing them. Admiration is just a signal for what we know we should be doing. So be someone who does the sort of things you admire in other people, and slowly you'll start to earn your own admiration.
A setback is a hidden opportunity for learning or redirection. The story isn't over. This chapter is simply setting up the next one. That's a beautiful thing. The story is not over. We just have to set up for the next chapter. In that setup phase, some things have to happen. You're going to have to be pressured, pushed a little bit, maybe thrown around, because we're setting you up for the next chapter. And that's not an easy process, but we don't want ease. And I'm always going to repeat this. We do not want ease. We want growth. We want evolution, right? We want healing. We want to be better. So understand what comes with that. Challenge, adversity, discomfort, setbacks, maybe sometimes heartbreak, failure. But we embrace it all with the right perspective, with the right attitude, and with a grain of salt. Because we understand that everything that is happening to us is also happening for us. Come on. Everything that is happening to us is also happening for us.
The biggest regret of the dying is never becoming your ideal self. I do believe that we're thrust in a world that we don't fit in. And I believe the journey is that a lot of people sell you a bill of goods along the way. That if you get some awards, you mean something. You go to a certain school, you got it. You got the right zip code. And you swim through all that filthy swill until you come to the really, really stark conclusion that I want to leave this earth becoming who I know deep within I am supposed to be. That it transcends status.
The greatest challenge of tomorrow's success is today's success. And the only way that I can keep reaching my potential is to give up today something so I can have something greater tomorrow. Your life is a series of trade-offs. Everything that you need in life and everything that you want in life, but you don't have it, the reason we don't have it is because it's outside of our comfort zone. So what do we have to do? We have to get out of our comfort zone. Trade-offs are all about getting out of your comfort zone. And the higher you go, the higher the price.
The wounds others have left behind are part of your story, but they're not the whole story. You get to decide how this chapter ends. Do you let the pain define you, or do you let it refine you? Do you let the heartbreak harden you, or do you let it teach you? Do you let the wound fester, or do you let it heal? You have the pen in your hand. You have the power to write a new chapter, one where the pain doesn't hold you back, but pushes you forward, one where the heartbreak doesn't close you off, but opens you up to something greater. The strength in healing isn't easy. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's a process that takes time and effort and patience. But it's also worth it. Because on the other side of healing is freedom. Freedom from the pain, from the bitterness, from the wounds that once held you back. You are not your pain. You are not your heartbreak. You are the person who faced it, who survived it, who is still standing in spite of it. And that is strength. So take the time to heal, to grow, to rebuild. And when you're ready, step into the next chapter of your life with the quiet, unshakable confidence of someone who knows they've turned their pain into power. Because you have, and you will.